The events of August 25th brought both remarkable images and terrifying experiences to countless people across the American Southwest.
We begin tonight here with the stunning images, the dust storm that swept across several cities, the drivers suddenly blinded by the dust, passenger planes grounded, air traffic controllers forced to evacuate the tower.
Dust storms swept across several cities, leaving highways in chaos, air travel disrupted, and power grids shaken.
It's fascinating to see this wall of dust continue on. Let's take you right now out to our Fox 10 team. As you can just see, just some of the images on the road. They're warning people to stay off the roads right now due to this wall of dust moving through that area. This is just so kind of fascinating to see, profound to see, as this major dust storm hitting the Phoenix area.
For many, this was yet another example of the strange and volatile weather patterns that have marked the year. For others, particularly those with spiritual eyes, it was also a prophetic reminder, a signpost of creation itself groaning, as Paul described in Romans 8, verse 22. The day began like many others during the late summer in Arizona, hot, dry, and cloudless. The region had endured an unusually dry summer, with very little rainfall. This dryness, combined with desert winds, created perfect conditions for what meteorologists call a haboob, a massive wall of dust that can extend for miles and reach hundreds of feet into the sky. By late afternoon, towering clouds of dust could be seen forming on the horizon, and within minutes, they swept into the Phoenix metro area.
The towering cloud of dust, hundreds of feet high, moving in over the Phoenix metro area. After an unusually dry summer, this storm swept in, leaving drivers unable to see. You will hear people in their cars narrating how dangerous this was, how conditions changed in an instant. The massive dust storm turning day to night, causing travel chaos, leaving those drivers in the dark, visibility near zero.
Drivers on major highways like Interstate 10 suddenly found themselves blinded. Visibility dropped to near zero in seconds, forcing motorists to slam on their brakes, pull over, or risk collisions.
Grounding flights after dust turned day into night. This video from Arizona State's football stadium showing just how fast the dust storm struck.
Many shared real-time footage from their vehicles, their voices trembling as they described how quickly the situation changed.
Okay, so we are in the middle of a haboob.
Brene Heitzman forced to pull over blocks from home after picking her two kids up from school.
When the cloud overtook your car, what was your reaction?
I was scared. I had my two little ones, so I kind of had to be brave mom.
One moment they could see the road, the next, they were swallowed in total darkness.
We are right in the middle of this dust storm. So take a look there, the wind blowing the trees. We've got people who are doing what they should do, pulling over.
The storm did not end with dust. It was followed by torrential rain, leading to flash flooding across parts of Phoenix and surrounding cities. Wind gusts reached up to 70 miles per hour, tearing through neighborhoods, toppling trees, and knocking out power lines.
And tonight, a new threat, floods. The monsoons behind the Arizona dust storm, fueling flash floods from California to New Mexico. This woman climbing under the hood of her car to escape a muddy torrent, forced to wait until a good Samaritan could finally get her to safety.
At Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, the violence of the storm became particularly alarming. Part of the roof of the airport was ripped away, leaving water to pour in. Air traffic controllers were forced to evacuate their tower while planes were still in the air, creating a frightening situation for passengers and crews.
You can see, take a look at these planes that are right here.
Our Phoenix affiliate ABC 15 reporting live from Sky Harbor Airport as that dust wall turned into driving dirt and rain.
It's hard to open my eyes because we are once again getting pelted with rain, pelted with what feels like dust.
Listen to the air traffic controllers telling pilots to stay in the air while they evacuate the tower.
They said that the dust storm's going to be, I got no plane. The visibility's going to be pretty bad for like an hour. We are evacuating.
Not only were flights grounded, one of the terminals sustained damage. The powerful system also taking down traffic lights and trees, with thousands of homes and businesses losing power.
The images afterward showed devastation. Uprooted trees across highways, damaged power lines, crumpled signs, and shattered glass. Yet what stood out most were the visuals of the storm itself. An enormous wall of dust moving over the Phoenix skyline, blotting out the sun, a sight so apocalyptic that it looked as though the entire city was being consumed. On the surface, this was a natural event during monsoon season in the desert southwest. The meteorological explanation is straightforward. A strong thunderstorm forms, and as rain-cooled air plummets toward the ground, it spreads out in all directions, picking up dry dust and debris from the desert floor. This creates the towering wall of dust known as a haboob.
A haboob, though, is special. Here's how it works. A thunderstorm builds up tall and heavy. When it collapses, a powerful downdraft slams into the ground. That air rushes outward in all directions like water spreading across a floor. As it pushes across the desert, it scoops up tons of loose dirt and dust, lifting it sky high into a massive wall. The result? A haboob, a fast-moving, intense wall of dust that can stretch for miles, tower thousands of feet high, and turn day into night in just minutes.
Yet while meteorologists can explain the how, they cannot fully answer the deeper why. Why are storms growing in intensity? Why are weather events becoming more destructive and frequent across the globe? Why do so many natural disasters seem to be converging in our time? For believers in Christ, such events are more than meteorological phenomena. They are reminders of the groaning of creation described by Paul in Romans 8, verse 22. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. This passage gives us a framework for understanding dust storms, earthquakes, hurricanes, wildfires, and all other natural disasters. Paul reminds us that when Adam and Eve sinned in Genesis 3, the curse did not fall only upon humanity. The entire created order was subjected to decay, frustration, and death. Creation itself was broken. Romans 5, verse 12 explains this reality with striking clarity. Wherefore, as by one man's sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. Sin was not a private matter that affected only Adam and Eve. It unleashed a chain reaction that spread through every corner of the universe. Death was not just physical, but cosmic, touching not only human life, but the very fabric of creation itself. When Paul says that death entered the world, he is pointing us to the universal impact of sin. The world we live in, its storms, disasters, and decay, is evidence of that entrance. The ground that was once blessed to yield fruit now resists with thorns and thistles. The harmony that once existed between humanity and creation has been fractured. Every natural disaster, from a wildfire in California to a dust storm in Arizona, whispers the same truth. The world is not as it was meant to be. Romans 5, verse 12 sets the stage for Romans 8, because if sin had not entered, there would be no groaning, no decay, no storms raging against us. The curse explains why creation now cries out in pain, waiting for redemption. The language Paul uses is emotional. Groaneth. Creation is not silent. It sighs, it groans, it cries out under the weight of sin. Think about the earth trembling in earthquakes, the oceans roaring in tsunamis, the winds howling in hurricanes, and the desert rising up in dust storms. These are not random acts of chaos. They are symptoms of a fallen world. Paul then uses another striking word, travaileth. This is the language of childbirth. The pain of creation is not meaningless pain. It is like labor pains, pointing to something greater to come. Just as contractions signal that new life is about to be born, creation's upheavals are signs that a new heaven and a new earth are on the horizon. When we see events like the August 25th dust storms, we are reminded that this world is not as it should be. Creation itself longs for the day when Christ returns, when sin will be eradicated, when death will be no more, and when God will make all things new. Consider the dust storm itself. In an instant, the bright Arizona sun was blotted out. Day became night. Drivers who thought they were in control suddenly realized they could not see, could not move, could not save themselves. That is an image of humanity apart from God. Blind, helpless, overwhelmed by forces beyond our control. The storm revealed fragility. Cars, power grids, and even airports, all the marvels of modern technology, were powerless in the face of dust and wind. Humanity prides itself on its inventions, yet nature, with a single storm, can bring everything to a halt. This should humble us. It should also awaken us. For in these natural events, God is reminding us of truths we would rather ignore. Life is fragile, the world is broken, and judgment is coming. Jesus warned us in Matthew chapter 24, verses 37 to 39, that the last days will be like the days of Noah. People will be eating, drinking, marrying, living ordinary lives until suddenly judgment comes. The dust storm offers a picture of that suddenness. Are we ready? Have we placed our trust in Christ, who alone can give us security beyond the storms of life? Creation groans, longing for restoration. We groan, longing for redemption. Both will come together at the return of Christ. The dust storms of August 25th are part of that story. They are not random. They are not meaningless. They are reminders that the world is not yet as it will be, that labor pains are intensifying, and that God's plan is moving forward. And yet, there is comfort. Revelation 21 verses 1 to 5 gives us the promise, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful." Revelation 21, verses 1 to 5, lifts our eyes from the storms of this broken world to the beauty of what is to come. John sees a new heaven and a new earth, a creation no longer scarred by decay, disaster, or death. The sea of separation is gone. The holy city, the New Jerusalem, descends like a bride adorned for her husband, radiant, pure, and filled with the glory of God. At the center of it all is the greatest promise. Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them. The distance between God and humanity will be gone forever. Think of it. No more tears, no more funerals, no more fear of sudden storms. Every sorrow, every pain, every night of grief will be wiped away by the hand of God himself. The former things, the groaning, the chaos, the fragility of life as we know it will pass. In its place will be joy, peace, and unbroken fellowship with the one who sits on the throne and declares, "Behold, I make all things new." This is our hope. Beyond every dust storm, beyond every trial, there is a dawn of redemption awaiting the children of God. This is where the groaning leads. This is the hope that sustains us. And this is why we can look at even the most terrifying dust storm and say, God is in control, and His purposes will prevail. On August 25th, towering clouds of dust rolled over Phoenix, turning day into night, halting traffic, grounding planes, and leaving thousands in the dark. On the surface, it was a meteorological phenomenon explained by monsoon winds and desert dryness. On a deeper level, it was a prophetic reminder of a world in travail, groaning under the weight of sin and pointing toward the coming of Christ. The question is not whether storms will come. They will. The question is, are we ready? Have we placed our trust in the one who calmed the storm on the Sea of Galilee, who holds the winds and the waves in His hand, and who will one day make all things new?